Hey there, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Dangerous Misinformation. I'm your host, Rodney Smith. Join us today as we'll be discussing pressing topics such as diversity, the influx of Islam, Western media, and much more fun for the whole entire family. Please stick around to the end, rate the video, like and subscribe on whatever platform you might be listening to, and let's dive into it. This is Dangerous Misinformation. Hola! Welcome to another week of Dangerous Misinformation, your number one source for all things unpopular. I'm your host, Rodney Smith. This is your first time tuning in. Welcome. If you're coming back for more, please be sure that you have left a rating on the podcast if you're listening to this in an audio app. Or you could go on my wonderful YouTube page, subscribe there. I feel like my collar and everything's out of place. I don't feel put together right now. Yeah, you can go there, sub to the YouTube page. Appreciate y'all for doing that. We're growing, bro. We're growing on all platforms, which is always nice to see progress. Almost got 5K on TikTok now, 3K on YouTube, almost 20K on Instagram, just a little bit over 1,000 on Twitter. So slowly things are finally building. You know what I mean? And that's good news. That's great news, considering we're all on a sinking ship to third world hell. Okay. And I don't know what the big plan is here. Okay. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but at this point, it's like if you're not a conspiracy theorist, you're just kind of oblivious. Okay. And the only logical answer for what is going on with our borders and this immigration shit is that the Democrats are so worried about losing to Trump in this next election because Biden's such a fuck up, that they're just letting in just millions of people who can vote Democrat in the future, I think. But because I can't think of any other reason, man. It's just like, who looks at this shit going on, right? Who looks at these people just flooding from these third world countries and just goes, oh yeah, this is a good idea. This is going to work out. And it's so crazy because then you get the same people, they talk about, I made a remark, I put a video out there saying, you don't see white people move to countries of people they don't like and complain that they aren't being represented there, blah, blah. People go, oh, well, you're explaining the last 500 years of colonialism or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, if we want to talk about things, I mean, you won't wear clothes that were out of style 5 years ago, but you want to bring up shit that was going on 500 fucking years ago. And in my opinion, if you look at anywhere else in the world that wasn't, quote, colonized, they aren't very hospitable, nice places, and everybody's leaving them for a reason. You know what I mean? Everybody's fleeing these places that weren't, quote, colonized, and then they're coming here, and then they're still talking about how evil people are. And then, like I said, so white people, you're not going to see a bunch of white people move to some place in Africa, for instance, right? And then say we need things printed in English. We need more inclusion in the local government and blah blah blah. Like some people say, oh, that's fucking colonizers is what you've been doing forever. It's like, well, look how it's worked out. Back in the day when people were doing the colonizing and shit like that, look how it worked out. They want to use the example with the Native Americans, right? Okay, so are we going to be the Native Americans now? Are we just going to open our borders and let everybody that fucking hates us just flood in here with the big... It's all military-age males, you know what I mean? It's all military-age males. They talk about, oh, our countries are being... If the United States or Europe get drug into conflicts, the European and American citizens have to go fight for their countries. You saw it in Ukraine. You see it in blah, 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 which, by the way, I totally forgot that Ukraine was even going on. I forgot that Ukraine was even a fucking thing because this Palestine shit has been so ramped up. And it's crazy how the left, the issues that they flock to. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure the biggest problem in a leftist's life right now is how they're going to make it to the pro-Ukraine, pro-Palestine, and BLM looting and gay parade all on the same day, which are all just completely conflicting ideologies. You know what I mean? They use this term, like the liberals hate American conservatives so much. They'd be like, oh, well, you're anti-abortion, you're church, don't want separation of church and state. All things that I agree with, by the way. Okay, I'm very liberal on certain issues. Like, I don't give a fuck if somebody wants to go kill their own kid. Like, go kill your kid. I don't give a shit. It's none of my business. Now, it should be my business, and maybe when I get older and I look in my own child's eyes someday, I can be like, I don't know how somebody could possibly fucking do this, because I can't imagine doing that myself. But I don't know. I just feel like certain people shouldn't be breeding. But the left, right? The American left, they absolutely hate conservatives, and they paint the average Trump voter as just this far right extreme that's going to tell them they can't have women's rights to their bodies, and they're going to infect religion with everything. But then they'll be like, oh, we need to let more Islam in. Islam is about as far right wing as it can possibly get, okay? And then you get these white liberal women, they're all like, from the sea, Palestine to the free, from the river to the sea. And then they talk shit on my post if I say, maybe it's not a good idea that we're letting all this extreme Islamic shit get out of hand again. And they go, oh, Islam's not the problem, and blah, blah. And she starts mouthing off to me. I'm like, well, if you like them so much, why are you talking out of turn to me, who's a man, and why can I see your hair? Okay? If you love them so much, then follow their rules. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think you would never, ever, ever see a bunch of Americans going over to the middle, because if they did, it'd be instant deletion. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's provocative. Like, I've seen all these videos of these people just going in front of like cathedrals in downtown London and stuff like that, and just praying in front of the Christian cathedral. And it's like, it's obviously provocative, and they know they can get away with it. And it bothers me, dude. It bothers me that it bothers me that double standard exists. You know what I mean? It bothers me that people can come to my country, and I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna call syrup bottles racist, let's talk about some like actual shit that might sound fucking racist, because I don't even fucking care anymore. If they're gonna call you racist for anything, you might as well be honest about the big shit. But it's like, they act, they come here and then they act like they're doing us a favor by adding their diversity. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're coming from a failed system. The thing that you were doing didn't work. So now you had to come to the place that my ancestors built that was so great that it allows to welcome you in with open arms and try to start fresh, because the shit you came from didn't work. Now you're coming to where my culture does things a certain way, and you're acting like you're doing me a favor by bringing yourself here, and you want input. You think you need to have more representation within the system that my ancestors built. It's like, no, we do things a certain way here. You're a fucking guest, bro. You're a fucking guest. So when you come here, like, be appreciative. You know what I mean? We don't need more representation. We need more appreciation. Straight up. If I go to any country, right? Even if it's whatever. If I go to any Southern American country or any place in any Islamic state or something like that, I'm going to follow their laws. I'm going to follow their rules. And I'm like, okay, this is your country. This is what you do. And then people's going to, oh, well, America's a melting pot. That's not the foundations that it was built off. And blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? At the time when people came to America, when there wasn't shit here besides, whatever, that's exactly it. There was nothing here. So you get the Italian, the Irish, the Germans, the Spaniards, the French. You get all these desperate people that came here to fucking nothing. And they built this beautiful, glorious system, right? That's been welcoming to anybody that wants to come build a better life for themselves. And then people want to tear it down. They want to talk about how evil it is. Like, we should, like, just because the West is so, I guess I don't know. There's a lot of degeneracy, and it's just, there's nothing productive about self-destruction. And that made sound like a completely obvious statement, but a lot of people feel like it's righteous. A lot of people have this like white guilt, white shame, like American shame. Just because your ancestors did something, just because you come from a good system doesn't mean that system has to cease to exist because other people can't figure it the fuck out. That's why when you're on the plane and the plane goes down, you put your own mask on first. And we're to a point, it's like, You know, I don't forget, it may have been like a fucking Charlie Kirk or one of these idiots. I forget. Not that, I don't know. I feel neutral about Charlie Kirk. But he said, if we let in so much of the third world, how long until we become the third world? And to me, it's like, if we can fund all these wars, right? If we can send Ukraine all this money, if we can send Israel all this money, if we can send all this money everywhere to bomb the shit out of different countries, it's like, why don't we just send the money to fucking help some infrastructure and build some shit in these other countries, instead of just being like, oh, well, just fucking come here, we'll take care of you. It's not like inflation is, it's not like the average American-born citizen. It's not like no millennials can afford houses. It's not like inflation's gone out of the fucking roof where you get 2 bags of groceries and it's $200 and everybody's already getting taxed up the ass for everything. Gas is expensive, $4 a gallon. So everybody's gonna say, oh no, like, you know, let's bring more people that are gonna be on. It's like, where's this money coming from? If they can just print fucking money, right? If they can just print money at will, why is there, like, the average American, it's like an astounding number of people that have medical debt or that there's student loans. You know what I mean? And then they vote this fucking retard Biden in there who says, oh, we're going to cancel student loans. We're going to attack healthcare. No, all he's done now is drop a bunch of bombs on Palestine. And now these dumb liberals who voted him in the first place are all like, ceasefire, ceasefire, even though Hamas keeps stirring the pot. And they act like the Palestinians are just these completely innocent bystanders in the whole thing, when they're the people that keep voting these super fucking anti-Semitic people into power. The shit's not going to end over there. You just need to let them fight and let them duke it out. I hate to say it, but it's like there's no... They're fighting for land, which they've been fighting for thousands of years. And the Jews had it first, and then they left. Then they got kicked out. Then they got kicked out of Europe. Nobody took them. They got kicked out of the States back after World War II. So the Jews are tired of getting fucking kicked around. And I don't blame them. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's intricate. It's complicated what's going over there, but that gives no right of this, like, you know, this widespread just bullying Islam shit that's going on. You know, they're not happy anywhere. You know what I mean? If you look at any of the Islamic states, any of the Arab states, they're not happy. It's all just fucking war and violence and stoning people. Women aren't allowed to drive cars. They're covered in burqas, and people just, it's all just misery. It's pure misery. The only place these people, then they flee to a Europe or somewhere in the West, right? They flee there, and then they don't. Then they complain about how things are there, and they say, "Oh, these evil people here, these evil people there," and it's like, you blame everything besides this fucked up religion that you come from and this fucked up culture. Maybe it's not even that; it's just like the fucked up culture. It's like, I want no part of it. Why should I have to have a part of it? I want no part of it at all. You're not doing me. You're not doing anybody a fucking favor, you know? I don't know, dude. That's another thing about these just like white Western liberals now, right? They talk about, they see the coverage of the Palestinian-Israeli war, and they talk about, oh, well, the Western media, you know, Zionist media, they're depicting things a certain way. But it's like 6 months ago, you wanted everybody fired from their job because they wouldn't get a fucking experimental jab that the TV was telling everybody to get, or, you know, telling everybody to wear masks. It's like, oh, you should listen to the experts. The TV, listen to the experts. Now when it comes to some war that doesn't fucking concern them, or something where they can just go and virtue signal about because somebody's allegedly being oppressed, they want to talk about Western media. Where was this Western media talk when the Western media was coming down on its own citizens and wanting to vilify people? Even doctors, right? Doctors and very smart people who were authorized to speak on these issues that had a conflicting opinion from what the mainstream narrative was. And nobody's talking about, oh, the Western media then. But now it's like, oh, the Western media. I don't know, dude. If these people didn't contradict themselves around every corner, I don't know. I don't know, bro. Point is, the USA is falling apart. It's way too expensive. We've opened up the doors to way too many people. The USA is going to become a third world country here very shortly. And for that reason, I think all of us whiteys should get together and we should go just colonize again. We should just go to some shithole and fix it up. And within 2 generations, everybody else is going to want to come there too. But at least in our lifetimes, we will be the people sitting on the the beam in Manhattan eating our sandwiches, where if one person dies for every flight that gets built, we did a good job, because the fucking African migrants' ancestors that built my country. Anyways, y'all, please leave ratings, please share, please follow, please do all the good things. You know what to do. Yeah, that's that. I will see y'all tomorrow. Deuces. Petty out.